Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to the inaugural episode of Season 3 of the BW Hotelier, the GM show. Can't even imagine we're already into our third season. It's been quite a good show, quite remarkable. Today, as we enter a new year filled with promise and opportunity, our industry is at crossroads. We focus on the future of hospitality in India's capital today, a city that not only shapes but reflects the essence of our nation's hospitality ethos. From luxury to innovation, from challenges to groundbreaking solutions, we aim to uncover the evolving trends shaping the landscape. I'm your host, Bhuvanesh Khanna, and alongside me, moderating today's conversation is none other than Anupam Dasgupta. He's the Area Vice President North for India and the for North India and the General Manager for the Leela Palace in New Delhi. Welcome to the show, Anupam.
Thank you, Bhuvanesh. Thank you for having me.
Welcome. The topic for today's show is Future of Hospitality in India's Capital, Challenges and Innovation. Let's begin right away and dive right into the show and introduce our panel of speakers, each of whom bring a wealth of experience and a unique perspective to today's dialogue. Over to you, Anupam.
Thank you, Bhuvanesh. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here and a pleasure to introduce today's high-profile and extremely well-respected speakers from the hospitality industry. Amaan Kidwai, Area Manager North, Luxury Hotels and General Manager ITC Maurya, New Delhi. We have Abhishek Panshikar, General Manager, the Oberoi, New Delhi. We have Sharad Datta, General Manager at the JW Marriott, New Delhi, Aerocity. We have Daniel Dolatre, the General Manager at the Hyatt Regency, Delhi. And we have Harkaran Singh, General Manager at the Leela Ambience Convention Hotel, Delhi. So that's the panel for this evening.
Great. Anupam, let's get into the show. Why don't I begin with my first question to you?
Sure.
Tell me, as the moderator for this episode, how do you define the term metropolitan excellence in the context of luxury and economy hotels? And what are the key factors that set the benchmark for such excellence in Delhi NCR?
Okay, thank you for that question. I would say that metropolitan excellence, if I could just divide that into two perspectives, one from a guest perspective, the other from an operator's perspective. So from a guest perspective, I would say maintaining well-defined standards, strong personalization, hyper-localization, having gracious hosts across all touch points, and availability of varied, authentic, and interesting food and beverage options. So that's the guest, from a guest perspective. And again, this is cutting across luxury and economy. It doesn't matter which segment we're talking about. From the operator's perspective, Bhuvanesh, I would say it is making sure that guests are happy and returning in large numbers. So high NPS and repeat guest percentages, that market share is maintained, EBITDA flow-throughs are achieved, asset quality is absolutely top class, and that the team is motivated and empowered to deliver on all the above. I believe these are some of the key pointers for metropolitan excellence from the two perspectives, irrespective of the segments that we are operating in.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Back to you. Now you take it over and run it past with your selected questions.
All right. My first question is for Amaan Kidwai, Area Manager North, Luxury Hotels, and General Manager ITC Maurya.
Yes, thanks, Anupam.
Okay.
Great to be here.
Great to have you. Great to have you. ITC Hotels, Amaan, has been on the forefront of as an early mover in sustainability as a key pillar of hospitality. This is especially topical given the constant conversations on things such as air quality, etc. in Delhi. As per you, what is the role of responsible luxury in reshaping guest expectations and operational excellence?
I think responsible luxury as an ethos across ITC hotels is something is what we are very proud of. And as many of us know that ITC hotels across India have 23 LEED platinum rated hotel. 12 of these hotels are LEED zero carbon certified. 5 hotels are LEED zero water certified, including ITC Maurya. ITC Maurya is proud to have a bio-urja plant where we use our food waste to generate biogas, which is used in our kitchens. We have a large paraboloid solar concentrator, which is used to generate steam and electricity for energy for the hotel use. Sheraton New Delhi has renewable energy as a source of its electricity. So I think in Delhi, considering that we are located in in this bustling metropolitan where there are at times challenges of air quality, especially at this time of the year. Renewable and sustainability in our day-to-day activities is the way forward. We all have to, by force, switch to PNG at this time of the year. I think it's a good practice to probably use it all through the year to reduce the burning of fossil fuels. Or if we invest in electricity from renewable sources over a period of 4, 5, 6, 7 years, it pays you back because electricity is more or less a fixed cost for hotels and a substantial cost for us. So if we invest in some windmill or solar plants in other states or areas around Delhi, we can always wheel it and use that. So this is an opportunity for us. So I think being aware of investing in technology to minimize our impact on the environment is our way of saying paying back to the society, of saying thank you to everybody, and depending less on the government infrastructure for our day-to-day needs of HLP.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, Amaan. Great answer. Thank you. My next question is for Abhishek, General Manager at the Oberoi New Delhi.
Hi,
Abhishek, hi. Hi. Great to have you here. Abhishek, please give us a perspective on integrating technology into luxury and specifically how Oberoi hotels in particular and luxury hotels in general are adopting AI and IoT in delivering seamless and memorable guest experiences.
Thanks, Anupam. So I think there are two separate parts to it. One is the IoT part and one is the AI. I think IoT, a lot of hotels are adapting, wherein, it's the Internet of Things where one system talks to another. It's sensor-based. It is based on voice commands. And I think a lot of our hotels are integrating this technology. We have it here at the Oberoi New Delhi, where you can control everything in the room through an iPad. So much so that you can even see someone who's outside your door through the keyhole on your iPad before when somebody rings a bell.
Mm-hmm.
And you can also open the door, so you don't have to get out of your bed or you don't have to get up from the writing table where you're sitting. So everything is accessible. So that's the IoT technology. There's no end to it. It'll keep evolving. It'll keep getting better versions out in the market. The question is, do we want to be invested in it? Because technology is expensive. And as we all know, upgrades also are chargeable. So every version upgrade, there is a payout that the hotel does. So we just have to do a cost to benefit analysis every time we go around it. And sooner or later that technology becomes redundant. So that's the IoT part of it. Anupam, AI, I think there's tremendous potential for the industry. I wouldn't say luxury hotels, I think for the entire industry. I think as hoteliers, it's been ingrained into us that our MIS has to be really strong. And that's what we really, work towards to capturing, back in the days when there was no email, capture the guest address, I'm sure. And in front office, when we were working in the registration card, you have to get the guest address, get the right telephone number, make sure the PIN code is correct. And today's day and age, it's email, and today's day and age, it's mobile number. we are great at collecting data, but I think where AI will make a difference is how we use that data. We have a plethora of MIS lying with us, but are we capable of using it? Are we using it in an optimal manner? I'm sure we all agree, even today.
I agree. Yeah.
Guest preferences are something which are communicated either through some message or either through some Excel sheet, or that poor hostess has to keep a track of it every day. There's tremendous potential. It just needs
Tip
to be
of the iceberg.
Yeah.
Honestly, tip of the iceberg.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, and listen, we do it every day. You go onto Amazon, the moment you add something to your cart, instantly it will recommend some other item which other people have bought along with this, right? You buy, you buy a shaving cream, it'll recommend a razor next to it, right?
Intuitive.
That's
Yeah.
intuitive, right? But today, if I order a main course in a restaurant, it's not going to recommend me a wine. I still have to go to the server and ask him, what wine do you recommend?
Yeah.
Right? Or what should I have with this?
That's
Or
true.
what is the ideal bread to have with this curry?
Right.
I mean, there's just tremendous potential. The way AI is used in our industry, it's really like you mentioned, it's tip of the iceberg. So there's
Yeah.
tremendous potential. There's tremendous potential in revenues.
Yeah.
Making the right recommendation based on the profile of the guest, based on the history of the guest. Even
Absolutely.
today, we keep manual records, right? That this guest prefers his cappuccino with sugar free, or this guest prefers his sandwich, with a whole wheat bread. I mean, ideally, it should be just happening seamlessly, right? The moment I come in, I know what I want to order based on my past trends. What have I ordered? It should recommend what's new. So I think there's tremendous potential here. We've not even scratched the surface of it.
And I think as an industry, I mean, I know I'm generalizing here, but I think it's an industry thing. We are, we don't really embrace technology as fast as other industries do.
Yeah.
I don't know what you feel about it.
I completely agree.
For some reason, we are resistant, maybe at some level. I don't know what it is, but I guess we have to get to the bottom of it.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you.
Thanks, Abhishek. Sharad Datta, General Manager, JW Marriott, New Delhi Aerocity. The next question is for you, since you are the emperor of Aerocity. When Aerocity was being planned, great to have you.
Thank you.
Great to have you. When Aerocity was being planned, everyone laughed and wondered how we would be filling up those rooms, all in close proximity to each other. Today, you and your neighbors are laughing all the way to the bank with sustained occupancies and ADRs. Tell us about Aerocity's growing importance as a hospitality hub and its impact on business travel for Delhi NCR.
Thank you, Anupam, and it's great to be here today. It's an absolute pleasure to talk about Aerocity, which, as you rightly said, has grown to be one of the most dynamic hospitality hubs in India. And we at the JW Aerocity are very proud to be at the heart of this very vibrant destination. I like to put in a quote, it's the right Aerocity, all right? Because there is so much more to come. The more the merrier may well be the mantra. Considering that, Aerocity's journey has been nothing short of extraordinary. And being the first luxury hotel to open way back in 2013, we witnessed firsthand how Aerocity is transformed into a premier hospitality and business hub. There are now over 3,500 operational hotel rooms in this park. There's premium office spaces. There's a very thriving dining scene, and there's a tremendous opportunity in the retail space also. I think the success of Aerocity, amongst other things, also lies in the network of highways, the metro, the flyovers, etc., that connects it to the different parts of India. Specifically from Aerocity, all parts of Delhi and Gurugram are easily accessible. And this juxtaposition, I think, is hugely advantageous, as Delhi's importance is a given, right, as far as business is concerned. And Gurugram is India's second largest IT hub, the third largest financial and banking hub, and it's also home to one of India's largest medical tourism industries. So considering that, there's a dynamic transformation underway in Delhi's city. The second phase of expansion is underway. It's gained momentum, and there's a huge investment of over 6,500 crores. And this is, I think, really setting Aerocity to propel it into the ranks of premier global business districts. it's just growing in size. I think it's also evolving into a center of international commerce and upscale hospitality. There's, I think, going to be about 6.5 million square foot that's going to be introduced across 60 acres. And this is 3 times larger than what the current Aerocity space is. Worldmark buildings 4, 5, 6, 7, once they come in with adjacent retail spaces, it just gives you an idea of the ambitious plan there is for Aerocity. So what does this mean for us as hotels? I think this evolution, if I may call it that, is it extends beyond the infrastructure. It's a sort of a mini renaissance in this part of the world as far as hospitality is concerned. Aerocity will evolve into a very thriving hub for corporate and leisure experiences. And this transformation, as you would know, is it's taken Aerocity from being a mere transient pit stop into a very bustling nexus. And this has also captivated hospitality giants. And when I speak of hospitality giants, it would be remiss of me if I did not mention that Marriott International is opening up 2 luxury hotels in Aerocity. One is the St. Regis and the New Delhi Marriott Marquis. So I think there's tremendous opportunity for hospitality, for retail, for dining experiences in this part. And further ahead, India's largest mall will also open in this part. This again will add a huge dimension to Aerocity. And in the third phase, which I think is called Aerocity Downtown, this will expand the horizons. There'll be a hospital, a cricket stadium, and I hope, Anupam, even a golf course that's in planning for people like us. Yeah, you bet. So this will create a fabulous space for work, leisure, and lifestyle. So Aerocity is, like I said, the rise of Aerocity. There's much more to come. Brilliant destination to be in.
Well spoken, like the true emperor of Aerocity.
All right, thank you, sir.
And Marriott.
I think what we also at times forget is that it's a great example of how good planning can transform a location, because most of our urban spaces are not planned, not well planned. Things are very ad hoc, and I think Aerocity is a great example of how a mini planned city can come up and then take wings. So thank you for that, Sharad.
Thank you.
Speaking of neighbors, I call upon mine, Daniel Dolatre, the GM of the much-loved Hyatt Regency. Daniel, for many years, Hyatt has been a pioneer in driving food and beverage trends. Your hotel in particular set outstanding trends by bringing in classy food and beverage options to Delhi and India, such as China Kitchen, La Piazza, etc. All household names in food-crazy Delhi. Tell us a bit about your thoughts on ongoing innovations in F&B in Hyatt and how Delhi's cosmopolitan audience is driving trends in food and beverage offerings at Hyatt Regency Delhi in specific.
Thanks so much, and very good afternoon to everybody here. This wonderful panel of wonderful experienced hoteliers in our industry. It's such a pleasure to be part of this first episode of the new season. So food and beverage, it's a tricky subject actually. And I mean, I'm quite new. I'm totally new to Delhi, totally new to India. I've been around now just for above 6 months. And what I've seen so far is quite impressive on what is offered on the food and beverage scene within our destination, within the greater Delhi area, and particularly in the hotels. I mean, what really makes Delhi and I guess India also very different to places where I have been to, which my main experience in the past has been really in other parts, in other continents, particularly Latin America and then in Europe, is the sheer amount of restaurants each hotel, first of all, has. I mean, you will hardly find any hotel which has under 3 outlets, which in Europe or in Latin America is hardly seen. That's being said, our challenge really is, how do you operate 4, 5, 6, or 7 F&B outlets and keep them still, first of all, profitable and keep them relevant? And I think that's really the biggest challenge we have nowadays when we do our restaurants, when we think of what should we do in a restaurant, how can you remain relevant? Because, I mean, if you look as an example in our case, a hotel which has been around for quite a few years now, and the food and beverage restaurants which we have also been around for quite a few years, when the hotel opened up, we catered to an audience, which was, I will say now, a younger audience, let's say around in their 30s, mid 30s, 40s. And this audience has grown in age with the hotel. So a lot of these people brought their families with them as they frequented our restaurants, our outlets. And these people who came here as children are also now still coming. Yeah, but obviously they're not frequenting your F&B outlets as often as their parents probably used to do, because now the younger people, they look for experiences in restaurants which are not so much inside the hotel now. So our biggest competition, and this is really a worldwide trend that has been going on, is there are so many amazing freestanding restaurants with amazing freestanding concepts popping up all over the world. And we can see that here in Delhi too, putting up an incredible display of food and beverage offers. And to be able to compete with that is not an easy thing. Also thinking that these type of restaurants also have a totally different cost structure. They don't carry the load of what we have as an overhead within a hotel. So it makes it a little bit easier for them also to work in a much more competitive manner, price-wise, of what they offer. But even again, product-wise, it's very, very challenging. So we really have to think, what does our audience of today, first of all, who is our audience today? What is their demographics? What is the ages we are catering to, which is now much wider than before? And what does our audience look for now? It's not so much nowadays. Before, people used to go to restaurants to basically eat and satisfy their desire for hunger. Now it's about the experience. What type of experience can we offer? No, is our food, and I think one of the success stories of, I'm sure one of the success stories of this hotel has been the authenticity of what they do here, of what has been done, is, are you going to do Thai food and you have a Vietnamese or a non-Thai chef in the kitchen doing your Thai food? Or are you going to do Thai food and have a Thai chef in the kitchen? So the first thing we really have to consider is the authenticity also of what we offer. Do we have chefs coming from the region, from the country where you want to present the food for? Your beverages, no? Where do the beverages come from? What are you offering? It's now not just anymore, I want a gin and tonic, but what type of gin and tonic, with what type of gin, what type of tonic water? No, the most common thing is you would get a gin and tonic with a certain brand of tonic water, but nowadays there are so many different types of amazing tonic waters which can make the gin drinking experience a totally new experience. So these are all things which have to be thought about, which previously we didn't have to think about that. No, it was just, okay, what do you put on the menu? So it's definitely much more challenging. Yeah? And again, to stay relevant, we really have to do a good job at our market research and seeing what is it that who's our customer, what does our customer want, what is in the market now. So I've been able to just go around a little bit in Delhi and look at some of the restaurants and try out some of the restaurants and bars that are around there. And it's really amazing. I mean, there's bars which are in the top 50 bars in Asia. No, they used to be in the top 50 bars in Asia, doing an amazing job and really doing an amazing job at entertaining their clientele.
Absolutely. So you're absolutely right. The future of restaurants in hotels would absolutely be in shambles if they don't benchmark themselves against standalone restaurants, because they're run in a very different way. You're absolutely right. And the other to your point is that all the people that you were talking about, the generations who've come and used the Hyatt Regency when it was first built, and all these restaurants when they first came up, I'm not sure how many of them were as well traveled as they are today. So
yes,
people's expectations are that much more, today, because they've traveled, they've seen the world, they've been to London, Dubai, New York, they've seen the best restaurants, world's 50 best,
absolutely,
etc. And then we have to benchmark ourselves and our services against those. So,
and we see that in our hotels,
yes,
our audience, our guests which come,
yes,
many of them are still Indians, but Indians which now live abroad or work abroad, and they come from overseas, having had totally different experiences and talking about that experience, and then they come here looking for it, and then they get disappointed if they don't if they don't have that same F&B experience as what they would have abroad overseas, no? So it's very challenging. So I think it's not so much anymore about, I guess before it was how many restaurants and bars can I have in my hotel to make the hotel look incredible and to make it pompous. But now I think it's more about the quality of what I have. I know, we always like to say in many industries, at least in the hotel industry, less is more. And it really is about less is more.
Quality over quantity. I agree. Yes, next I call upon my colleague and teammate Harkaran Singh, General Manager at the Leela Ambience Convention Hotel, Delhi. Harkaran, could you please tell us how large-scale convention hotels such as the one you're leading are adapting to India's growing domestic and international events markets?
Thank you for the question. Good evening, Mr. Dasgupta. Good evening, Bhuvanesh. Good evening, all our colleagues and friends, whoever's watching. Well, I think your question, when you say how large-scale convention hotels are adapting to India's growing domestic international, I would rather say, is India adapting to the growing demand? I think that's something which is the question, because if you look at, for example, and if I may be allowed to propagate my hotel, which is a Leela Ambience Convention Hotel, I think kudos to the brand and the investing company who invested in this mammoth of a hotel about almost 15 years back, where there was zero market for large conventions. So I think when you ask the question, when you ask me about how we are ready, I think we are definitely ready, and we are adapting each day to what the world wants, be it collaborating with digital platforms for registrations, being conference ready, be it collaborating with providers for virtual and hybrid events. Because, I think I've seen events at global level where, pharma events, for example, where you have an event of about doctors in hundreds and thousands in numbers, and you have a live operation happening in elsewhere, right? Yeah. So you have to be ready for that. So I think we definitely have adapted that. And be it other things like convenience, like, having mobile apps for when you have a attendee list of about 3,000 to 4,000 guests. And if you have a mobile app intimating them about changes, venues, it just becomes convenient for them. So I think all of that, we definitely are adapting very well. It's now that we as a country have to now position ourselves in a way that we are ready for these large conventions. So example, let's say, moving away from hotels, if I may take example of a convention, which is Bharat Mandapam. We are hosting a 75,000 global exhibitors event, which is happening in February in the country, which is crazy, which is going to be, everybody is booming that time, right? What I'm talking about, the India Energy Week. But are we ready? Do we have enough hotels?
No,
and,
exactly.
And do we have so many rooms?
Yeah.
So I think that's the question we need to need to ask. But I think we as hoteliers have been very agile in adapting for sure in whatever the world wants.
Thank you. Thank you. Coming back to you, Amaan.
Anupam, we'll just take a small commercial break.
Okay.
For about half a minute.
Okay, sure.
Then we'll step into the later part of the show.
All right. Okay.
Welcome back, Anupam. Let me slip in another one to you.
Sure.
May I?
Yes, of course.
All right. So tell me, you've been all over. You've done this, you've done that. You've done a whole lot of hotels and locations. From your extensive experience in operations, right? What are the most significant challenges that a general manager faces in maintaining consistent operational standards across both luxury and economy segments in a fast-paced metropolitan market like Delhi? You're in the thick of it. You're where the action is. The political action is everything is happening around your hotel.
Okay, so I think the biggest challenge, and it's the elephant in the room, and I'm sure all of us would agree, is to hire and retain good talent so that standards are maintained. I think that is really a challenge and an opportunity in our business, and increasingly becoming so. I think the second challenge is to maintain the balance in the toss-up between, on one hand, premiumization, and on the other hand, occupancy maximization. So, because especially topical for luxury hotels, I would say this particular toss up, because that fine balance is elusive and needs constant attention. And if attention is not paid sufficiently to what matters most, there's always the danger of commoditization at the luxury end of things. So I don't know whether you agree with me, Bhuvanesh, but this is a big challenge that people have to deal with,
Oh, absolutely. I
especially
mean,
at the
this
luxury
is
end of.
this is
Yeah.
this is the big elephant that one needs to wrestle with.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, back to you, Anupam.
Okay, so my next question is for Amaan. Amaan, ITC's culinary heritage is well known to all of us. I have been a personal witness, having spent some time with the organization as well. Tell us how ITC hotels are leveraging their culinary heritage, and how iconic properties such as yours, with an absolute wealth of F&B offerings now further embellished with Avartana, can drive global and domestic tourism through culinary innovation.
Right. So, Anupam, like Daniel mentioned that authenticity of guest experiences is something which is very key to driving F&B business, and overheads are in more cases lower in freestanding outlets than they are within hotels. I of course agree with that, but ITC hotels over the years have built some iconic F&B brands, and starting with the Bukhara, the Dampot, our Dakshin, and now Avartan, which was launched in 2013 in ITC Grand Chola, Chennai, and has recently opened its fifth outlet at ITC Maurya. I think they are a testament of how fine dining and experiences continue to be created at luxury hotels. Uh, Being at ITC Maurya, the home of Bukhara, I can very confidently say that there are several guests who come and stay with us only because of our iconic restaurants. Every other day, we get emails from our clients that they were coming to stay with us to experience a Bukhara or a Dampukht or an Avartan, or stay at our ITC Grand Chola hotels to experience these restaurants, because naturally staying there and dining there is a convenience. So we continue to showcase our great culinary heritage, which is inspired by the region where we are located, where we are present, and also ensure that we maintain our consistency of guest experience through authenticity of cuisine. And these restaurants, we all know, are iconic, have been globally recognized. People want to come back again and again for that experience, and it's across brands actually. So there are iconic restaurants in all hotels which we have here who've been in existence for many years, and that legacy will continue because there is tremendous opportunity and people recognize that the cuisine strength of hotels is here to stay and will be a driver of room business also.
Absolutely. And increasingly, while food and beverage tends to be on, slightly lower on profitability compared to rooms, increasingly many hotels, such as ours, including mine, I would say, the percentage of food and beverage income to total income has only been increasing as a percentage. So I think it's a great opportunity to provide, not just, to the for the guests, but also to the bottom lines, and to the top lines of our organizations.
Absolutely. And like Harkaran mentioned that the Bharat Mandapam Convention Center, which is a huge convention center, we mentioned it for another reason of an upcoming event in February. but ITC Hotels has its presence there on the food and beverage offering, and we get an opportunity to showcase a lot of the Indian culinary heritage to our international and national conventions which happen there. So I think it's a good platform to showcase our great country and its culinary diversity to the globe.
Thank you. Now with you, Abhishek. It's unanimously acknowledged that Oberoi hotels have been an icon when it comes to luxury and personalization. Could you please tell us about a few strategies to elevate guest experiences with curated and hyper-personalized services?
Thanks, Anupam. The word luxury has been used to no end nowadays. I'm sure you'll agree. Where luxury is available to people through their phones. You can order something online. You can have it delivered home. iPhone 16 can be delivered home in 15 minutes through I think Zepto. So luxury is on call nowadays, right? So how do you differentiate from luxury, which is the traditional luxury, to what truly holds meaning nowadays? And I'll just give an acronym for it. I call it RAP, R-A-P, which is recognition, anticipation, and personalization. And let me just elaborate. Recognition, I'm sure we all agree, a lot of our guests keep coming back to us. Yes, because they like our food, they like our rooms, they like this, but at the heart of it, we recognize them as individuals. There is a one-on-one connect with individuals. There's a one-on-one connect with the manager in the outlet, or one of the the front office managers, or one of the sales managers. We are at the end of the day in the business of relationships. And we are here to create memories. That's what our chairman emeritus would always say. So I think as long as we understand that and execute it properly and make it a way of life, I think that itself holds tremendous value for guests. So that's recognition. I think anticipation, that's the name of the game today. Before the guest even knows or feels that he has a need for it, it's there for him. And there's a very fine line over here between being intrusive and being anticipative. And that goes, a person in the room servicing something, realizing that the guest has used this, is getting over, replenish it. One classic thing is to look at what the guest has put in his garbage bin, right? That itself gives you an indication what the person is using, and you replenish that. Again, small ways of doing something very, very intellectually, but without being intrusive. And finally, personalization. Listen, personalization is the name of the game. Yes, back in the day, we used to personalize letterheads with guest names and have envelopes with guest names, and we would feel like, oh my God, we've arrived.
Gold embossed.
Yeah, gold embossed.
I remember as an industrial trainee working that machine.
Yeah.
Letter by letter.
All sweet arrivals. But I think so way beyond that. And personalization has a completely different meaning now. It's not having your name written on an amenity, or it's not a photograph on a chocolate amenity. It's beyond that. It is something more meaningful, something where a person remembers something from the past, or remembers a recent event in the guest's life, and kind of uses that as a memory to kind of, for physical manifestation of that memory. I think, let me put it that way. So I think that is what people truly value, and people truly think of as luxury in hotels. Because listen, you can have the best of the best at your fingertips, but at the end, how you make a person feel when he's staying is what brings them back, and that's what luxury is.
Well said.
Today we are so caught up in our computers and laptops, and that human touch is missing. And the moment you create that human touch, honestly, that is what is becoming luxury nowadays, the human touch. Absolutely. The fact that some human being is there still using his brains and not using AI. I know we spoke AI right now.
And that was your question to you.
Exactly. And not using AI, but using his own brains to do something sensible.
No wonder you skirted around AI and only touched upon IoT. Okay. Thank you for that.
Sorry, Mr. Dasgupta, I would also add, I think that's also constitute to a difference between service and hospitality. So, when people say we are in the hospitality industry, that's sort, and I think recently, I was just seeing one of the reels from one of the celebrities
Mhm.
And if I may quote, it's on Instagram also, Shahid Kapoor mentioning that, he went to this ex-hotel and he could clearly see what is a service and what is hospitality, because he says service you will get everywhere, but it's the authentic hospitality that people remember, preferences, and delivering it without being asked. I think that's what is hospitality, and that's what makes people come back.
100%. Thank you. Thanks, Harkaran. Thank you, Abhishek, for your lovely answer. Sharad, your turn next. How is the JW Marriott adapting to the evolving demands for MICE and I dread this portmanteau, leisure trends? Pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you, Anupam. There's no hospitality discussion or debate that can be complete without the mention of MICE, right? It's so ingrained in our system, and really it's a cornerstone of our business, right? MICE is. And look, as far as our hotel is concerned, great location as far as MICE is concerned. Access to the airport is something that we know about. Key business districts of Gurgaon, Delhi, Cyber City, etc., very, very close by. So it's a very, very great location from a MICE perspective. And the hotel is equipped in many ways with large banqueting spaces, a large inventory of rooms, great food and beverage. From that standpoint, I think we've got to take it a little differently. I think the MICE industry really expects us as a service and product expert to understand that we've got to align with their requirements. You mentioned, Anupam, that we as an industry are not necessarily the forerunners in embracing tech, right? But however, I think what we've realized is we need to ensure that we create environments which facilitate application of these requirements. And we recognize as a hotel that the basics of hygiene, clean rooms, efficient service, great food, seamless execution of events, and the people touch, these are now basic expectations. And the ask really is to go beyond. And as a hotel, we try to do that with just small examples, things like curated arrival experiences, even with MICE. Building engaging and interesting activities during meetings, ensuring that our food and beverages is in line and sync with what the trends are, and things like that. And going to your favorite word, Anupam, pleasure, I think it's something that we can't take away. It's when people travel, not only as FITs, but also within the MICE piece, they're also looking at mixing their business with what else they can do. And guests are continuously seeking enriching experiences alongside with their professional commitment. So what we've done at Aerocity, JW Aerocity, we try to tailor our offerings to kind of try and meet this demand. Most of our hotels have wellness spaces, and there is a huge upsurge in, I think, people's mindset, how they look at wellness and what they expect the wellness space to be in our hotels. So we've obviously focused on that. We've offered, for example, in the past, holistic wellness experiences, just a small example, sound healing sessions, etc. And, basically trying to provide guests with a transformative way to rejuvenate and restore their well-being. And I think it was mentioned by Abhishek, and consumer expectations have shifted, right, towards personalization. You mentioned immersive experiences. And I think sustainability is also a huge part of this. What we've done in our hotel is we've introduced curated packages that try and blend luxury with responsibility. One of the things that we've done is we've launched a package called the Eco Chic Sustainability Package. This is designed primarily for environmentally conscious guests, and we've seen great success and appreciation for this. And very basic changes we made. We've got sustainable room amenities. We've got sustainable dining experiences, because all of the JWs are graced with a JW garden where we can grow our own fresh produce. And we're also, as a company, very focused on sustainability, reducing carbon footprint, and to promote environment conservation. So these are the few things that we're doing as a hotel, from both the MICE perspective as well as the pleasure segment.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice of you and topical of you to touch upon wellness now, because as we segue into the next question for Daniel, it is about wellness. Daniel, could you please give us your thoughts on reinventing wellness services as a core offering to cater to health-conscious guests?
Absolutely. So if we think of the wellness issue today, what our clients in general, what the community, what our guests and the public is looking for, it's not anymore just going into a gym and going on a treadmill, but it's also having a tailor-made program made for our guests of what they should be working on, of how they should be going about their exercises, how they should be going about their wellness. So there's various companies which are out in the market now, which hotels are utilizing. For example, one of them was Peloton, which basically you have your own tailor-made personalized program and you're on the road. I mean, people spend so much time traveling nowadays. You take that with you, and wherever you go, you just plug it in, or you connect yourself to the machines, which you can use in the different wellness fitness areas of the hotels, and you can just continue working on the same program. So it's also about the mindset, the wellness of your mind, the wellness of the mental wellness and the mental health which we have, which is now more important than ever, and especially with the environment which we're living in. And I always like talking about this. My experience so far here in India, one thing that is really surprising to me is the amount of communication that is taking place here on platforms such as WhatsApp and all the others that are out there. In other parts of the world, it is still very, you use it, but you use it basically more on a personal level. And any other communication business related is done through email or through phone calls. Whereby here, there's so much business that is being channeled through on these platforms such as WhatsApp or Signal or Telegraph. People sending you messages, you cannot cope up with it anymore. So going to the state of mind, your mental wellness, it's sometimes already to a level of obnoxiousness that you don't know anymore where to put your mind to. Do you go to the emails? Do you go to your telephone? Where do you have still time to go and meet your guests, which is really what you should be doing, what we should be doing, spending time with our guests and checking on their well-being and checking on how they're doing in our environment. So we really have to keep a close look onto what can we do, what can we cater to our guests to look after their well-being, their mental well-being in particular, their physical well-being. It also goes into food and beverage again. People now are more than ever conscious about what they eat. In India, one of the good things here is, because the vegetarian issue here, obviously it's part of the way of living here, but in other countries, more and more people are switching over to eating more non-meat produces and switching over to really a vegetarian diet. But even more than that, in Europe, for example, it's very strong now. You look for restaurants, and there are restaurants which have opened up already, which are only, we call it bio restaurants, which are only using products which are coming from a natural environment, grown in a bio environment. For example, you look for eggs which are coming from free roaming chicken and not from chicken which are within a stall and laid like on a massive machine level. So also the type of food that we put into our bodies, where is that coming from? How is that being produced? It's part of the well-being. So there's much more to it now of what we do for our guests to also look after that and cater to that.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Daniel. My last question is for you, Harkaran, before we move on to a couple of other things. Having been a veritable PhD in revenue in your earlier avatar, enlighten us on various evolving revenue streams. Specifically, how can hotels diversify beyond rooms and food and beverage revenue to include other sources such as entertainment, retail, etc.?
I'm a hotelier. I can only tell you about room revenue. You're asking me to tell you more. So no, I think jokes apart, I think nice question. Thank you so much, Mr. Dasgupta. I think we as hoteliers are also asset managers. So I think when you have an asset, you have various streams. 2020 was a year of change, was a year which pushed us, all of us, all around. to think beyond only room revenues and our outlet revenues. And that's how I think all our hoteliers, and I think everybody, all my colleagues here would agree that everybody made decent money out of home food deliveries during that time, right? So I think that's something which we thought beyond. I talk and think to myself that why did we not think about this 10 years back or 5 years back, right? But having said that, I think there are various opportunities, and I'll give you an example. I was in Bombay in my last assignment, and I went to one of the hotels. I was pleasantly surprised when I went to the basement 3 of that hotel. Let me not name it, and there were all sorts of luxury cars standing there. And when I found out that parking has been given on rent to Spinney, and the hotel earns almost a 15 lakh revenue a month out of that. So basically, they've gone beyond and thought about it that, hey, listen, you've got enough and more parking space. Why not utilize it, right? So I think things like this is something which is inspirational. I mean, you see a growing demand and growing travel by pet parents. So how about not creating a spa zone for pet parents, for the pets? And I'm sure, Mr. Dasgupta, you will love that for sure, because you're a pet lover. So I think if you have something like that, so, you know, and all of us have, again, you can't bastardize the asset you're running. Like, let's say, example, again, I can tell you that you are running a palace hotel. I'm sure you don't want to go and sell every square inch because you are selling experiences. But I think depending on the genre of the hotel, you have enough or more spaces, and that's how revenue per square feet and square inch comes in. So whether having a pop-up retail, whether giving spaces which are unutilized to movie shoots for, you know, we have OTT platforms. And trust me, these days, all these guys come with very limited crew because everybody is cost conscious. So they don't bastardize your products. They don't bastardize your space. In fact, it helps in marketing. So it's a double leeway that you earn money as well and the hotel gets marketed as well. So I think there are enough and more streams. But I think we have to be mindful about as asset owner, as not asset owners basically, but as somebody who's looking after the asset, that it should not be bastardized and we have to look after the assets.
Fantastic. Thank you. Bhuvanesh, do we have time for more questions or?
Yes, of course, go ahead. You've actually lined up some for the short responses.
All right. So gentlemen, we spoke about the elephant in the room, the urgent problem, which is of getting talent into entry-level jobs. If there is a one-word solution or an innovative fix, one word only, in no particular order, can I have them from each one of you?
Shall I start? Should I say that?
Please. Yeah, please.
You know, I would rather say an answer in a more philosophical way. I think everybody, all brands are taking initiatives to ensure they retain talent, and I think that's something which is a major concern for everybody, all of us. And let's face it.
What's the one word?
See, I knew Bhuvanesh is going to hold
the
you.
One word, Bhuvanesh, everybody talks about is work-life balance, but I would rephrase it to creating and bringing work-life harmony. The one word is energy. That's what I would say. I think if you have energizing spaces for our colleagues, and if you have that energy restoration when they come to work, that's the time they will retain and they will stay.
One word, 15-20 lag gaye.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's more philosophical. I can't give you one word answer.
Thank you. No, I'm with you, Harkaran. Thank you.
Thanks, Harkaran.
Others? Anyone?
Career progression. 2 words, but yes.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
There's no one-word answer. I think I would side with Harkaran on this. It's a long-winded statement that is required to handle this.
But let's have your view.
My think is a combination of what people have said. I think we need to understand what they're really looking for and try and amalgamate that with what we need. Ultimately, I think every generation is fantastic. Every generation brings something onto the table. And are we really looking at how we can use that to our advantage, right? I think you look at these kids, they're fantastic. They're well-spoken. They're hungry for knowledge. They're hungry for more. They have great guest connect, right? And I think if we just look after them, one is work-life balance, I think is on top of the list. So yeah, that's my input.
Thank you.
Empathy. To show empathy not only to our guests, but also to all the people who are helping us day by day do what we are doing best to make sure that our guests are content with what they experience at our places.
Thank you.
All right. That leaves Anupam, Abhishek, and yeah, that's
Amaan.
it. Aman has spoken.
Amaan has spoken. Sure.
Abhishek.
So I think we'll have to look at alternate sources for recruitment. We keep looking at the traditional hotel management colleges. We keep looking at the traditional, buckets from where we recruit. We know the results out of that. We know the quality that's coming in. We know the quality of people entering such colleges, or the quantum also. I mean, every time in June, there is an article saying that 20% of college seats in hotel management schools are vacant. People are using our Indian hotels, at least, as a stepping stone to move on to the Middle East hotels, to move on to cruise, move on to Europe.
True.
So literally become training grounds,
Yes.
honestly, right? So we are like the postgraduate training ground for everyone, and then they take a leap forward, which is fine, which I agree. Everyone wants to do well. Everyone wants to succeed. Absolutely. People come from very humble upbringings, and they want to do well in life. That's
more brain drain then.
Yeah, it's a brain drain. So we'll have to look at alternate routes, alternate markets for getting recruitment. I mean, people are already doing it. There are resorts which are, located in very, very remote areas who recruit local people, right? I mean, and then they use them to give the service, and people love it because it's very traditional, authentic regional service. So I think we'll have to look at alternate ways. We'll have to look at different sources.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Abhishek.
you.
What
Thank you,
about
Abhishek.
you, Anupam? What would you say?
I think it's a combination of all of this, but what Sharad rightly pointed out is, the fact that every generation is different in the way that we should be handling them. And, I know this is also a philosophical answer. It's not a one-word answer because it's not possible to give a one-word answer to this. It's not, I mean, it's an opportunity for us, and we all need to look at how we are as leaders all the way down the line. I think coaching is a great way of retaining good talent. Bhuvanesh, do we have more
I
time,
think we're
or are we?
done. I think we're done. We
Okay.
need to sum up. I would also add to this,
Yeah.
stretch and strive for more. This industry is a great advertisement for a great career. Where else do you get such articulate, well-spoken, and such presentable professionals, who run not only large vessels, it's like a seagoing ship, right? So you're skippers, true worthy skippers. You sell the asset every day. You rub shoulders with the who's who, all the celebrities and heads of state. So I think only if we can bring in people to watch you people live as you speak, as you deliver, and as you present your case as worthy brand ambassadors, not only for the industry, your brand and this industry, will they be attracted to this industry? Yeah. So Anupam, let's have you sum up the show, and then
Yeah.
I will come in and conclude.
Thank you, Bhuvanesh, to all the panelists for such an insightful and thought-provoking discussion. Gentlemen, thank you. I think today's session, if you all agree, has highlighted the incredible potential and dynamism in Delhi's hospitality landscape, showcasing how challenges can spark innovation. As we look ahead, it is evident that sustainability, personalization, and adaptability will remain at the forefront of our industry's evolution. To our viewers, thank you for joining us for this enriching discussion. Wishing you and your families a most wonderful 2025. Let us take stock of what matters most to us this year. Stay tuned for more episodes as we continue to spotlight the visionaries and leaders shaping Indian hospitality. Until next time, this is Anupam Dasgupta signing off. See you soon.
Thank you, Anupam. You've been a great moderator. All right. Thank you for leading this show.
Thank
I
you.
won't go away without thanking our speakers here. Amaan Kidwai, great brand ambassador, Abhishek, Panshikar, you presented your views the best way a general manager can, extremely articulate. And Sharad, my brother, right? Not that the others are not. Sharad, thank you for being here and for being a worthy brand ambassador for brand Marriott. Daniel, we spoke yesterday. Welcome to India. Welcome to Delhi. All right. So we brought you in pre-winter and you've gone to the winter. Wait for the summer to come. Delhi will tell you what Delhi is. But yeah, thanks for being on the show. Yeah,
Thank you so much for the invite.
Thank you for representing Hyatt the way you have and Harkaran. All right.
Yes,
You've got your customary chutzpah. Keep it up. The zeal.
you.
Now, about the show. Today's show has showcased the true future of hospitality in India's capital while addressing various challenges and innovations. I think it's a great session. I would give my right arm to have you all back again. Hopefully soon we shall do that. I must also thank my partners in the series, Diversity. Diversity, thank you for holding our hand. Thank you for bucking up the industry and putting your money where the mouth is. This industry needs a lot of support. And through this show, we can obviously sell this industry to the wannabe hoteliers. See you in 30 minutes at 25 minutes at 5:30 p.m. This year, we have 2 shows a day and 4 shows a week, every Thursday and every Friday, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m., 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. And this will be our routine through January and February. Follow us, watch our shows. We are live on bwhotelier.com, our YouTube channel, and across the 4 social media platforms of Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. As we bring in more relevant topics and the heroes of the Indian hospitality industry, represented by these 6 gentlemen, they run mammoth hotels, like I said, delivering business and guest experiences that are global benchmarks. Once again, Happy New Year, and see you back soon in a few minutes and tomorrow. Thank you again, Sharad, Abhishek, Daniel, Harkaran, Amaan, and Anupam. And thank you, Team BW Hotelier.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
everybody.
very much.
Just wait
Thank
for a
you.
minute. We'll sign off with our video presentation. Thank you again.
Thank you.